This is Ibn Williams, a hooper at Coppin State. His head coach is Juan Dixon, seen here, the former Maryland Terrapin star and NBA player, plus Lucien Brownlee, director of player development and director of basketball operations, who is accused of catfishing, then blackmailing his own player, Ibn Williams. This story is wild. According to the now filed lawsuit, Brownlee harassed, tormented, and essayed Williams before publishing intimate material he had obtained from the student. Per the suit, Dixon was informed of what went down and failed to take action against Brownlee and support his former player Williams. In the complaint, Williams says he received messages through his socials from a woman. Williams reportedly was enticed into sending images of himself to this person of a sexual nature he believed were private and in the context of developing a romantic relationship, the lawsuit says. With the exchange of photos and videos, Williams was exploited by the woman into sending more, or else she was going to publish them. With threats of Williams losing his place on the team, plus his tuition, room, and board payments, Williams felt he had no choice but to continue responding to his tormentor. This is when Brownlee, a fellow player of Williams's at the time at Coppin State, revealed to Williams that he had also been blackmailed by the same woman, of course put in quotes. The blackmailer then ordered the two men to record themselves having sex and send it to said tormentor. At first, Williams didn't oblige, but with fall semesters beginning, he complied per the suit. Williams' attorney is Daniel Epstein of Epstein Ostrov, and this is where Epstein reached the eye-opening conclusion. By information and belief, the blackmailer was Coach Brownlee, the complaint says. Williams, with unaliving himself on his mind because of how much he was tormented, went to his family and basically said there is rampant drug use when they're on the road. So Williams' father meets with Dixon, and Coach Dixon basically says he's helpless to address the drug issue. Fall of 2020, Williams returns to campus and the blackmailing continues. This time, Williams, though, didn't respond when he returned to campus, and that's when the material used to blackmail plaintiff was published and revealed to members of the team, staff, and the public, the lawsuit says. Per Epstein, those messages, because Williams didn't respond, apparently, were then blasted out to the masses through Instagram. That's when head coach Juan Dixon, even with all this being made public and Williams not being in the best frame of mind, Dixon demanded Williams attend practice. The complaint would then state Dixon admitted that Brownlee was mentally ill or otherwise emotionally imbalanced, and that his history was known to the coach and the athletic director plus the school. Thus, head coach Dixon was also named in the complaint for allegedly failing to support Williams by taking appropriate action upon learning of Brownlee's actions. In addition, Coppin State University was also named after officials retaliated against Williams by reportedly withholding his financial aid and housing, allegedly blaming the athlete for the negative media coverage in connection with the incident, which stemmed from Williams asking for an investigation in which, according to the suit, a lawyer for the university further traumatized Williams with questions about his sexual past and orientation. It's cringeworthy, the questions that he was asked. Epstein would go on to say. For Coppin State, they would violate their own set of rules and code of conduct. The complaint stated the school, whose policy on sexual misconduct prohibits R-word, sodomy, quid pro quo, stalking, sexual exploitation, coercion, and retaliation, took no action to remedy the situation. Here are my closing thoughts. Per the Grio, Juan Dixon admitted that Lucien Brownlee was mentally unstable. Why hire him in the first place without vetting this candidate for a position on your staff? That falls on Juan Dixon, which of course will then lead to trauma for Williams, Williams's family, and any kids that Williams will have. Brownlee is no longer with the university, yet if you were to Google his name with the word fired after it, nothing comes up because there was no press release, there was no announcement. Why? Those at Coppin State, if they were to have found to be asking cringeworthy comments of Williams under these conditions, should no longer be in these leadership positions, especially at a university like this. The fact Williams had to leave the school and complete online classes shows the failure at Coppin State University. And lastly, the fact that Dixon is still head coach is troubling and says something. The best way to combat this would be for a temporary leave of absence before we get all the answers for him to have a set return. The fact he's there, troubling.